Okay, so I'm currently editing this video, so before you make it along with me, watch it about halfway through. I do ultimately make some changes to the original pattern that you might prefer. I also show the original pattern, so you have a choice. You can follow 100% the original or 90% the original, 10% my way. So I just wanted to give you that heads up. In case you're following along from the beginning, watch it through first because there are some changes. Hello, hello. I know it's been a while. I haven't uploaded in almost a week or exactly a week. I'm going to explain a little bit about where I have been, but in the meantime, I want to make this gorgeous 1880s handbag I've been eyeballing since the day I was very generously gifted this book. So let's get right into this pattern here. We're going to need a 5mm hook, and this pattern actually calls for macrame twine, but I'm just going to use acrylic number 4 worsted weight or Aran weight, and it calls for a bone crochet needle number 8, and that is going to be a 5mm hook. And the reason I know that is because of my handy dandy new stitch term, hook, thread, and yarn reference guide that you can pick up in the link down below. I put together this comprehensive guide that takes you through stitch terms, yarns that equivalent to today, like what size yarn was it, what type of yarn was it, and what kind of crochet hooks do you need, being steel or bone. And it also includes 4 free patterns in the back, antique, so Victorian era patterns, so that you can practice using this guide. So that way, you know, this guide taught you how to work these patterns. So all of that comes in one handy dandy little packet. And you can pick that up in the link down below. You can also pick up this pattern as well. And it is a gorgeous little pattern. Okay. To start off, we're going to need to chain 4 chains. Very easy little pattern as far as I can tell by reading through it. Really fun. Okay, let's start with 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will be working in the back bumps. Let's work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so without chaining, let's turn and work 1 into the first stitch, 1 into the next stitch, but let's work an increase on the 3rd stitch. So now we should have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Without chaining, turn, work 1 into the first, next stitch over, 2, again 3, in the last stitch we work 4 and 5. So we're going to increase 1 stitch at the end of every row until we have 11 single crochet worked. So again, without chaining, we work 1, 2, 3, 4. Now into the last stitch, we work 5 and 6, turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then into the last stitch, 6 and 7, turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, into the last stitch, 7, 8, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last stitch gets 2, that's 8 and 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we should have it with this next row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. Okay, so we're going to maintain these 11 stitches for 14 more rows. So I'm going to go ahead and use my row counter here. This will be row 1 of 14. So here we go. Just going to work 1 stitch into each stitch across now. No more increasing. So where have I been? Oh my goodness. Okay, so about 10 days ago, I ate some meat. As you all know, I have Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disease, and sometimes it's very easily triggered. And I ate some meat that was apparently no bueno, no good. And it did taste funny, but it didn't like trigger any warning signs. It just tasted a little different, but it didn't taste bad or anything like that. It just tasted a little different. And so I ate one of my salads with that hamburger meat in it, about 2 hamburger patties worth of meat in that salad. That's quite a bit. And it has been 10 days, 9 days, and I'm still trying to get over it. Oh my goodness. I've had physical muscle fatigue. It triggered an attack on my thyroid. It just messed me up overall. Plus it made my stomach sick. So, ugh. But it's given me lethargy of the mind, fatigue of the mind, fatigue of the body. I have done nothing but sleep, mostly sleep for the last 8 or 9 days. Bright lights are really affecting me. Like, it just messed up my whole little world. I have that sort of flu-like feeling where your skin feels kind of hot and clammy, but you're not running a fever. I'm not running a fever at all. So that is temperature control issues due to the thyroid being attacked. So what Hashimoto's is, for those who don't know, it is an autoimmune disease that some people say it's also called leaky gut. When you eat certain foods, or you have maybe a stomach infection or something, it triggers the immune system through your stomach, through your digestive tract. It triggers the immune system to attack. And it is an over whole body attack. It starts with the thyroid, and then you get inflammation everywhere. Everything becomes inflamed. Like, imagine if you accidentally punch something and your knuckles get swollen and inflamed and your knuckles hurt, but over your whole body, your neck, your shoulders, your hands, your everything. So you get joint inflammation, you get muscle fatigue, which includes the heart. Your heart feels exhausted. Everything you do just feels like it's so laborious. You get brain fog, serious brain fog, photophobia. You're sensitive to lights, and you get brain fatigue or lethargy. You're lethargic. And I haven't been keeping track of any of my rows. Can you believe that? I'm just going to keep going. I'll just count. I'll count. But anyways, so I guess I don't need this. So that's what I've been dealing with. I'm still dealing with it. I tried to make myself feel better by getting back to normal by crocheting a mystery video. I tried. I picked the pattern, and then I just had to lay back down. I literally on the couch right where I was filming, I just moved everything onto the floor and just laid down. And I slept for like 6 hours after already sleeping for about 5 or 6 hours. And a couple days later, I tried filming it. Here's the yarn, and here's my my start. And I just couldn't. I got that far. I started getting hot, shaky, weak, tired. I just decided to put on a video and lay down. I just couldn't do it. It hit me really bad this time. Like, I've been through this before, but this is the longest it's ever lasted. I'm feeling physically less fatigued today, which is why I'm on here doing this, but mentally I'm a mess, which is why I'm doing a pattern I've had a chance to really study instead of a mystery pattern, because that requires, mystery patterns are kind of stressful, and it requires a lot more thinking figuring out, and I don't want to have to think or figure anything out. So this was pretty easy decision for me to make here, feeling physically better. And I will get past this. I have been through this before. It's just whatever was in that meat really got me down. I probably got a little stomach infection from it and just didn't realize, because I had pretty bad stomach cramping for about 2 days. So I probably did. And so part of this probably is also stomach infection that I'm getting over. I can only assume now I didn't have any issues where I had to run to the bathroom and you know, out with it, like throw up is what I'm trying to say. I didn't have any of those issues, but kind of at some points I felt like I might have. It's just something bad in that meat. So we are buying our meat from somewhere else. That meat came from Walmart. So we are buying our meat from the actual like Kroger's grocery. And we don't have a Kroger's around here, but it's all under the Kroger's umbrella. So it's basically a Kroger's, a Safeway, I think. Anyway, I say I think because we almost always shop at Walmart. So anyways, that's where I've been. I slept all day off and on today, but I woke up, I ate some sweet potato and lettuce, and I'm feeling all right now. So that's where I've been. Okay, so I was thumbing through this book, and I actually have another project coming up. I think I have several projects, actually, several in the works. They're all around me, literally. But some of them are a little lengthy, so they're going to take me a little while before those videos are done. But I have another fun project coming up for us after this bag. So it's not going to be a mystery pattern. I'm still going to give myself a little bit of a brain break on mystery patterns until I'm back to 100. But I was sort of inspired by another YouTuber to do something. And so a few days ago, I did order a Tunisian hook in a size, a vintage Tunisian hook in a size I don't have in vintage. I have the size in modern crochet Tunisian hook. I have it modern, but I just don't have it in vintage. So, you know, I like to work with vintage hooks whenever I can. It happens to be one of my favorite brands. It's a Susan Bates. I'm hoping it's Quicksilver, but the person on eBay did not list it as Quicksilver. They just said it was a silver Tunisian hook. The picture looks just like one of these, except for one difference. Okay, so the picture on the listing looks just like this, almost. It's the right style hook. It's gray silver like this. The difference is it just says Susan Bates here in a different font on the one I just bought. And it also has completely different font here, almost as if it's from maybe the 80s. I know someone said these hooks are from the 90s. I don't think that's possible, considering these hooks were made in Chester, Connecticut, and the Chester, Connecticut plant closed in 1991. So I don't think these hooks are from the 90s. I do believe that these hooks did come from, at the very latest, the 60s. So I do appreciate your feedback on that, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't wrong. I looked it up, and yeah, I don't think these came from the 90s, but they might have been popular to use in the 90s. They're a really neat hook with this sort of like almost enamel glassy feel to them. They do feel like feathered glass, like they're featherweight. Anyways, I'm hoping one of those comes, or I'm hoping that the one I bought is a Quicksilver. Those are impossible to find anywhere. And I need a 6mm. I've got a 5mm, but I need a 6mm for this project I want to work on. That I was inspired by another YouTuber, which I will get into all of that in that video. It's so fun. I look forward to this. So that is a quick update while I work, and I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here and count my rows. Okay, I'll be right back. I need to count these rows up. Okay, so now that I have completed my 14 rows, it wants us to do the same thing now, but we're going to decrease. So we're going to decrease 1 stitch at the end of every row until we just have 3 stitches left to work. So I'm going to turn and work into the first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm going to decrease stitches 10 and 11. So pull up a loop from the next stitch, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Next stitch after that, pull up a loop and pull through all 3. So now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this, work in the first stitch at the beginning of every row, but decrease at the end. So I'll do that one more time with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to decrease 9 and 10 down to just 9. So pull up a loop, next stitch over, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. Now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I will be back whenever I have 3 stitches left. Okay, so it says once we have the 3 stitches left, just to go ahead and tie off. Now it wants us to join at the 10th row over. So with single crochet, 1 visible column of stitches equals 2 rows. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, with this top part being row number 10. So I just sort of had to mash into a little knot there. And it's essentially, we're essentially going to work a star stitch, but they're calling it a, let's see here. They are calling it a point nage. Oops, you can't see that at all. A point nage stitch. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. But anywho, okay. So let's go ahead and join here with a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3 to the second chain from the loop, from the hook, sorry, we're going to draw up a loop into the first chain made, or the third chain from the loop, hook, from the hook, draw up a loop. Now into your same joining stitch, repeat that. And then again into the next 2 stitches over. So 1 and 2. We should have 6 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yarn over, pull through all 6. Make a chain 1. Now into that same chain 1, draw up another loop. 1. Into the back loop of this first loop that was made on the first stitch. Into the back loop, we draw up. That's 2. Into the same stitch down here that we already worked into, the last stitch on the foundation that we worked in, draw up a loop, and then again through the next 2 stitches over. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw through all 6. Okay. Chain 1 into that chain space. 1 into the back loop right here. That's 2. I am trying to bury my tail in along the way. That's 2, even though there's 3 on the hook. Down into the same stitch, the last stitch we worked in, down here on the base. That's 3, and then the next 2 stitches over, 4 and 5. 4 and 5. There we go. Chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. That is how it should be looking. Okay, so let's work this around, but we got to figure out this corner together because I don't know how to work this corner either. So I'll be back and we'll figure this corner part out together. I'll be right back. Okay, let's work out the corner. 1, 2, then down into the base stitch, 3, 4, and then right here into the top of this stitch, 5. Okay, I'm going to bury this tail in along the way too. 1, 2, back down into the base stitch, 3, 4, and 5. 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, okay, 4 and 5. 4, 5. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 4, 5. Okay, so that's how that's going to work out. Just work it around. Okay, I'll be back when we get back around to the beginning. Okay, so this pattern offers 0 instruction on how to join. It just says to continue working this for 10 rounds, which this looks pretty little. Likely working with twine would have made it much bigger. So I would say if you want this to be bigger, instead of working 14 rounds of straight 11 crochet across, work 24 rounds, but still end in that number 4 so that the stitch count for the stars stays right. And then work your decreases after that. That's what I would do if you want this to be wider. So this isn't going to be very big. I mean, I could undo everything I just did and go ahead and start over again, but let's figure out how to join first off. Okay, so I just worked my last star stitch. I'm going to go ahead and join. Let's see here. Do I want to join into the chain or into the actual stitch? Doesn't matter. I'm going to join into the top of that stitch right there, that loop. And I'm going to start with a chain 3 again. And start the star again, just like we did before, into the second chain from the hook and the third chain from the hook. Then down into the base where I joined, into the chain 1 right here. That's 4. And then into the see how it curves up into that last stitch right there, makes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, chain 1 into that chain 1 space, 1 back loop, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 1 back loop, 2 down into the last stitch we worked into, 3 into the chain 1 space, 4 and into the first stitch of the next star over, 5. There we go. Okay, cool. It's working out. So yeah, this is turning out quite a bit tinier than I had hoped for. So I am going to start over again, and instead of working 14 stitches in the middle, I'm going to work 24 stitches in the middle. That should give me a pretty good size, little bag. Because this is very tiny. Cute for a kid. Absolutely adorable for a kid. So just the foundation bottom alone is about 7 inches wide. That's just not going to be enough. So I am going to start over again. Work 10 rounds in this star stitch and then come on back, and whenever I come back I'll have a much bigger bag, but I'm just going to go ahead and off camera do some work and play around. Okay, so I'm changing things up a little bit. Before you move on with the pattern, That's why I gave that little message before you move on. Watch, because I have changed some things. So I did go ahead and work 24 rows in the middle. It's a little bit bigger, but it's not going to be a very, very big bag. I'm almost at 12 inches. That's almost a foot. That's pretty good. Then I went ahead and worked a round of single crochet all around just to sort of clean it up. Plus I had something else in mind to do. I really like how this looks on the bottom here. And I thought maybe I can do the star stitches through the front loop only, just on this row, which will create a sharp bend like that. I don't know. I think it will look pretty good. And then since I need to go to the craft store to get the correct color of ribbon, yes, I have to get more ribbon. Okay, I don't have any inch-wide dark green ribbon. I figured while I was there, I can get a piece of reinforced cardboard to put on the bottom of this. I'll wrap some kind of pretty material around it. But I went ahead and fortunately, this goes right from edge to edge perfectly. So I just went ahead and traced around it so that when I get a piece of reinforced cardboard, which shouldn't be very bendable, like I'll have to have someone here. You have to use a hand saw to cut it. It's ridiculous. I'll have one of the fellas here carve it out for me, but that'll be my template there. So, and instead of cutting and then joining in the 10th to start the stars, I'm just going to go ahead and start the star right here from where I worked my last single crochet. Now I did add 4 extra stitches all around because at each corner I worked 2 single crochet into each corner to round out that corner. So that's an extra 4 stitches. The pattern in the middle ends in a number 4, so I'm hoping that it will be okay. But if it's not, I don't mind fudging things, you know, that's okay. So without cutting, starting straight from where my last single crochet is, I'm gonna do the chain 3, start that star stitch, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I was gonna do back loop, huh? Or front loop, right? 3, 4, and 5. Oh, wait, no, this will be the outside of it. So I may need to go back loop only. So the part you're working on, the part that's facing you, that's going to be the outside of your work. Okay, 2, 3, no. 1, 2, oh, down here. 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you can see what's happening already is it's bending up. So it's going to create a precise bend right at the bottom of that bag where my cardboard will lay flat, and it will show it like that. A little bit of flattening texture. Now, if you don't like that, you can still use the cardboard and it'll just look more rounded, which also is super, super pretty, but I really wanted to give this a try. And plus, I love it whenever bags have that really nice seam on the bottom, what looks like it's like a rolled seam. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I'm not concerned if the stitch count is off. I will make it work. That's not even that big of a deal. That's one of the great things about crochet is you can fudge it and make it work 100%. It's your puzzle. You cut them pieces any way you need to make them fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, So I'm going to work this all around. We'll see what it looks like when it's all the way around, but I really like how this is going to bend up like this with that seam there at the bottom. I really do I really like that. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to work this all around. I'll be right back. So it looks like it's going to work out just fine because I need the 2 stitches to complete 4 and 5, and I have it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this off, and yeah, so adding those 4 extra stitches is fine. It would seem, as long as you end in a 4 before you work your decreases, and I don't know, end in 4. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great. Okay, and just like I did before, I'm going to go ahead and join into the, you see all the long stitches, that very top one there. And I want to do this firmly. Don't like that, but I can sew that up. I can sew that up at the end. Okay, chain 3 and start working my stars again. So I'm obviously going to have to work more than just 10 rows because I'm making this quite a bit wider. So I'll start with 15 and go from there. Okay. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then coming up and that top stitch there makes 5. 1, 2, 3 into the chain space, 4 into the top of the next star, 5. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so I'll be back whenever I have 15 rows, and I'll see what I think about the extra 5 rows. It might be enough. I may want 17 rows. I'm not sure, but either way, I will be back whenever I get there, and I really like how the join is looking. I think it looks nice, and it is bending exactly as I wanted. Looks like a little canoe now, but that's how it's going to look on the side. I like that. Okay, so I worked 12 rows. Now I have it off screen because it changes the color of the lens for some reason, like it reacts, so it turns things kind of browny orange, which now you don't get to see the actual color of the bag. So if I put it off to the side, it balances back out and you can kind of see that color a little bit the way it's supposed to be, as opposed to this. It turns it all brown. Anyways, so Larry went to the store for me because I'm still not feeling super hot. I really didn't feel it, the way I was feeling. I really didn't want to get out in 115 degree temperatures today. So he went to the store for me, and they didn't have the cardboard I wanted. So I just took 2 pieces of that thin cardboard, glued them together. But he did pick up some of these fat quarters for me, and the gray one I really liked. I think it'll go good with this. So that is my bottom, and oh, it's terrible, isn't it? I just glued it all down on the back. Isn't that terrible? But hey, look, you know, no one's gonna see that part. So 12 rows is pretty good for me. It's not the tallest bag, but we still have the top part. Now, bless his heart, I asked him to pick me up the ribbon. I said, I want something a little bit thicker than 1 inch. I'm making this bag bigger than it's described in the book. That's big. So that is the 1.5 inch, but he didn't know what size exactly to get, so he got me all 3 in the same color. I love that man so much. He did wonderful. This is a great color. All I did was describe what I wanted. This is a great color, and the thickness is perfect. So let's move right along. Now, at this point, it wants us to work some double crochet fillets. But because I'm making my bag a little bit bigger, I want it to look a lot more like the picture. I'm going to be doing US treble crochet fillets. So I'm going to start with a stacked single, 3 stacked singles, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and right into what looks like the very next stitch over, because I want to work these into the eye of those star stitches, not into the top part of the stitch. So I'm going to work my first stitch without skipping one, but it'll work out. I already practiced with it. So I'm going to yarn over twice and work a US treble crochet into the eye of that stitch. So it looks like it skipped one, because that's a pretty long stitch right there. So it still looks like it skipped one. And then we're going to chain 1. Now this part is per the instructions, is to chain only 1 between each fillet. Chain 1, skip 1. So yarn over twice if you want to work this exactly like I am, and into the eye of the next stitch. And there we go. Chain 1 and then into the eye of the next stitch, which does allow you to skip 1. I didn't work so you are skipping 1. That is a stitch there. I have to yarn over twice. So I'm going to work this all around. Hopefully it lines up right. If not, again, I'll just fudge it if I have to. I don't care. I'll make it work. This bag is going to be so stinking freaking pretty. I have been eyeballing this bag since the day I was gifted this book. Now, if I could just focus and stop trying to make double crochets. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to work these all along the top. So remember, however tall you're making your bag, it's going to be at least an inch taller with this portion here. I still haven't decided what I want to do for the handles, because I don't want to do anything super flimsy. And he did get me these. Wondering if there's a way I can incorporate this ribbon into the handle, but then that would be too much of the pop of green. I want the pop of green to be just in the middle like it looks on the picture, because I just fell in love with that bag. I don't know. I haven't figured out what I want to do for the handles yet. So I might follow the pattern for the handles. I'm not sure. But I will be right back whenever I'm done with this. I don't have a planned closure for this bag. I don't know that it really needs one. It's a wrist bag. Who's going to sneak their hands into my bag that's going to be hanging off of my wrist? Because that's where I would hold this. Is right onto my wrist, onto my forearm. So the handle's not going to be super long. It's going to be short handled. And so I'm not really concerned about like security. And I don't carry things with me that I'm embarrassed for anybody to glance over and look. It's usually my wallet, my phone, my blood sugar meter thing. I mean, I'm not worried about that. Or else, you know, if you wanted to, you can line this and put a zipper in it. I think that would be really pretty. Okay, I'll be right back whenever I am all done with this part here. Okay, it worked out really, really well for me. So now we're just going to work 1 row of single crochet all around the top to clean things up. So you can work in the space if you want to, or you can work in the chain 1 stitch itself. I don't think it really matters. I'm going to go ahead and work in the stitch. It really doesn't matter though. It's just what I've become used to since I started doing these vintage patterns. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and work that all around, and I will be right back. Okay, worked myself all the way back around. Just going to join with the slip stitch. And I still haven't figured out what I want to do about, first of all, before I go into that, let's measure. I'm not going to measure the bottom part of the bag, just from like my seam up, what I have so far with the materials I'm working with. And I have 7.5 inches of actual bag space. Okay, I still haven't figured out what I want to do with the handles. Let's see, first of all, where would I place them? My bag is folded perfectly in half right now. Let me get some stitch markers. I know, I hate the way the green makes everything on the camera look so warm. It just changes the colors. If I move my hand, yeah, then everything has this sort of orangey brown, yellowy hue to it. My hands turn red, and then it's normal again. Isn't that weird the way cameras do that? Okay. So make sure that's all opened up. And how am I going to do this? I am at an odd number, 11.5. So what about 3 and 9? That looks good to me, right? 3 and 9. Okay, so 3 and 9. Okay, right here. So I'll just match that on the other side. Make sure this is all standing straight up. Okay. Let's see if that matches. Gonna fold that in. And this looks okay. This is off. No, this looks good too. Okay, they both look good. All right, so that, oh, you didn't get to see any of that, did you? Okay, so this is my handle placement. And I think it looks pretty good. And I just simply eyeballed it. I have about 11 inches wide here, so I just went with 3 and 9. 3 and 9 looked pretty good to me. Yeah. Okay, so I think what I want to do is the star stitch. Two stars next to each other for the handle. I think I want to tie that all together with, so I'm going to figure out how to do that using the single crochets that already exist. So I might go with, I don't know. Let me play for a minute and see what I can come up with. Okay, so I think I figured out my strategy here. Let me get you down. Okay, so what I did was slip stitch all the way over to one stitch. I wonder if I shouldn't do 2. No, 1 stitch. I think that's going to be fine. Okay, so I slip stitched over to 1 stitch before my marker. So I'll go ahead and remove my marker, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now in the pattern it's just a couple of rows of single crochet for the handle. Okay, there, and there. 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then from here we're going to yarn over and into this stitch that's already been worked into by this last star stitch here. Let's work 1 double crochet. Now turn and work 5 single crochets across, starting with the top of our last double crochet made. So that's 1 into the stitch there, into the eye of the star, is 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn, and make the 2 stars again. So into the second chain, third chain, top of the last stitch made, next 2 stitches over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. Chain 1, come down here and into this last stitch we just worked our star into, work that double crochet again. That kind of like boxes it in. See, I think that looks really nice. and then just turn and work my 5 single crochet across. 1, I don't know how long I'm going to do this. 2, 3, I'm just going to stop whenever I feel like the handle is long enough. 4 and 5, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And I want a short handle, one I can hold and one I can just have draped over my forearm and wrist. So, you know, just like, boom, just short, just something short that I can hold on to. So I will be back whenever I figure out how many rows of the stars I'm going to do, but bear in mind that's not how many rows in all, because between each row of stars is a row of single crochet. Okay, I'll do this one more time. Pick up the first 2 chains, 1, 2, down into that last stitch we made, 3, next 2 stitches over, 4 and 5. Now into that chain 1, back loop, that's 2, same stitch we've just worked into, that's 3, and then the last 2 stitches makes 4 and 5. Now this last stitch we just worked into, number 5, we're going to work our double crochet into that stitch. So we pull through, chain 1, yarn over, and then back into that same stitch, that 5th stitch, work that double crochet. And there you go. And I think that looks pretty cool. Yes. So that's the way I'm going to work this handle, and I will be right back whenever I am done with my length, and I'll let you know how many rows. Okay, so I settled with 13 sets of flowers for the strap. So now, much like I did over here, I started with 1 stitch before my stitch marker, this stitch, and then 2 stitches after. I have 5 stitches, so let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's going to line up just fine. So I'll go ahead and join. Well, make sure I have my yarn set up right. From the outside going toward the stitch marker, 1 stitch before, or we started like this, didn't we? We started our chain 3, then we had 1 stitch. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to join that with the slip stitch, but I'm going to go back in and do that one more time. Okay, slip stitch. And actually, yeah, you know, I might want to join this in the back because it's going to look kind of funny. So I think I'll join it like this so that it looks smoother. Yes. Okay. This is going to be awkward. I want to join it like this. All right. So I will start here with 2 stitches before the stitch marker. Join this, pull it through. Chain 1, work a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see, how does that look? Yeah, that looks all right. That looks good. Yeah. Okay. I need to work my way over this way. Oof, I didn't think about that. I surely didn't think about that. Would have been nice if my handle ended on this side so that I can slip stitch over and then just continue to slip stitch my way over to this handle marker. That would have been handy dandy. Wonder if I can make my way back over. Wonder how bad that would look. I think if I work back here and just work some slip stitches back over, keep them little. Just worked into that one. Well, I can't really see. It's not very loose. There we go. Wonder if this is going to... No, it's not messing anything up. Okay. This is what we call the professional act of fudging it. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch my way over to my next stitch marker. I'm trying to do this with as little sewing as possible, you know? I kind of want slip stitches all around it. Wonder if there's a way I can do that. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so here we go. I need this one plain with nothing in it. This one is where I'm going to start my chain 3, I think. Yeah, just like the last time. Yes, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I'll move this. Chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through, yarn over, and then into that last stitch we just worked into, work our double crochet. There we go. Then I'm just going to start working my 13 groups of star stitches. They look like little flowers to me, so I keep wanting to call them flowers. So I'm going to work my 13 groups of star stitches with a row of single crochet between each. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I will be back. I'm going to go ahead and sew this down as gracefully as I sewed down the first one. And then we'll go ahead and adorn it with some ribbons. And one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, and then into that 5th stitch we just worked into, we work our double crochet. Okay, 11 more to go. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got both my handles on, but I don't really want the handles to be fat like this. I want the top part to be rolled. See how I just simply folded it, and that way it's got something nice and firm to hold on to. So it's wide right here, but whenever I turn it over, you can see how I stitched it to kind of roll it. And if you wanted to, really, you could probably just roll almost the whole thing to really reinforce it. So I'll show you how I did this. Of course, it's really easy. I'll use this one to know exactly where to fold at. And I just pinched it like that. And so get a stitch marker and hold that shut. And now, let's see here, using the other handle, I need to go from here to here, just like that. And so I will sew all of that. So go ahead and pinch, keep that pinched shut. Get a long piece of yarn. And I did a whip stitch on it, you know, roundy, roundy, round. Okay. Basing it on the one over here. So I need to start off right around here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's a pretty good size tail there. I'll go back through that same spot. Then I just started whip stitching it across. Just like that. I guess I went through that one twice. That's all right. Now it's reinforced. Make my way over. Guess I'm going through that one twice too. And there we go. And so I think that will look nice and it will feel nice in the hand. And I'm just going to use up the rest of my yarn going back the other way. Just because. Why not? My yarn is spun. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and work my way back a little bit and then just sew in the rest of the tail. And then we will work out the ribbon. Okay, so let's see here. Where is my center? I already put my deal on the bottom. And find my center. Let's see here. I think these two stitches here make up the center. Pretty well centered. Yeah. So, did I say it was those two? Okay. And I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4. How does that look with 4? That looks pretty good. Yes. That looks pretty good. Of course, I'll have to play with the ribbon a bit after I get it all weaved in. All right, I'm going to skip 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then go around just 1. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I was probably off camera for that. I'm so sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll go around the 5th. And I will adjust this ribbon and make it look nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, go around the 5th. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, and there it is. And look, I got my bow right. I'm not gonna lie, I had to watch a YouTube video to make sure that I tied the bow right. And instead of cutting it at the bottom with the V's where this is at the bottom, I wanted it to have these little points. So I did it like this instead, where I folded it and I cut up instead of cutting down, and it gave these cute little points. So there we go. And I'm going to have to probably glue that to the bottom of the bag so it doesn't move around. But, okay, let me get you some shots here. there is the bag. Oh my God, I love it so much. Okay, I won't make that noise again. That must have been annoying. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about any kind of fastener. I think it's going to be fine. It stands up just fine on its own. Well, not if you flop it down, but if you set it down, it's going to stand up fine on its own. Let me put some stuff in it. Okay, so here is my usual going to town content. So my wallet, my blood sugar meter, put that on the bottom, all of my lippies. So there is no internal pocket. I usually like to put like my lippies in somewhere, my lipsticks and lip balms and whatnot. So may need to have a little sachet or something like that. And then my keys, which I can just clip. I can probably just clip my keys on, yeah, like that. Or I can clip them on the inside that way. They won't really be seen. Yeah, we'll just grab a few of those like that. Okay, so now my keys are hidden on the inside. And there we go. And look, there's Mr. Merlin. Okay. There we go. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And there it is, not leaning up against anything at all. It's just standing. And of course, it's not closed. It's not going to be closed. And I'm not worried about that. I really don't care. I really don't care. I think it's adorable. I love it. You guys let me know what you think. You will find the pattern down below, and you will also find this extremely helpful reference guide for all things vintage, not vintage, but antique crochet. Okay, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.